Hey, Happy New Year! 2025, baby. Absolutely. I'm ready. I'm ready for a new year. Man, 2024 is a little intense for me, transiting Pluto opposite my sun. I don't know about you, but we have a different energy. We want to welcome in a new energy, a different energy. I talk about the new earth in this week's mantra. I want to explain that a little bit. But first, I mean, it's blustery. It's a blustery day, Pooh. I mean, I am not going out that door. So I'm going to do the beginning, right? Usually, I am behind the camera and I'm walking down a trail somewhere or something and, giving you all the aspects. But today I'm going to be giving you all the aspects, looking right at you and my book. Yeah, I may have to look at my book. I may cheat a little bit. I do not have all the week's aspects in my noggin. I mean, I do kind of generally, but the days that it's specific, is really something else. I want to share that with you. I want to be specific. It's important. So, the January 1st, the astrology for the soul for January 1st of 2025. Right now, the moon is in Aquarius. Yeah, and she just conjuncted Pluto like minutes ago. And opposite Mars, we have Mars is in that 0 first degree of Leo retrograding back into Cancer. That is a big shift. And it's going to go all the way back to 17 degrees of Cancer by February 24th. And then go direct and not come back again into Leo until April 19th. We got 4 months of Mars back in Cancer. Okay, and that actually occurs exactly on Monday. Okay, so it's still right conjunct my sun, and I'm ready to kick ass. No. It's easy to get a little frustrated with retrograde Mars now, isn't it? We can all be getting a little frustrated. Mars wants to go forward. And retrograde Mars is, no, don't follow that impulse. Don't be spontaneous. You need to think before you act. Oh, I mean, what a downer. But yeah, it can be irritating. It can be frustrating. It can be things just feeling like things are not going forward, or that you are having to, paddle upstream, or that you are fighting the flow, or that you are, and you're just trying to maintain. You feel like you're just trying to maintain, like your, what is that? Doggy paddle, or you're just trying to stay in place. But no, you need to fight the current of the stream or something to stay in place, because I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then, that's all right too. But that energy is still, like I say, retrograding for, another month and a half till February 24th. And it's going from fire into water. So this is another shift that's going on. We also have another shift going on from fire to water, and I want to talk about that. I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for the first degree of Aries. Yes, The north node of the moon today moves into the first degree of Aries, and it stays there for 12 days. These moon's nodes go pretty slow. So feel this energy for 12 days before then what? Boom, retrogrades into Pisces. So we have both Mars and the north node of the moon retrograding, going backwards from fire into water. So you may feel this kind of a shift, okay, from charge, go, into, like I want to feel and I want to sit and I want to be still, maybe be a little more quiet, maybe stay home, or just, that's just coming in to our emotional body, a little more with that happening. And of course, that Sabian symbol, it's the first, it's the start of a whole new cycle. It has to do with the new earth, and that I want to be talking to you about today. And so it's pretty long. This could be a pretty long Pele report. This is the other thing, is that at the end of this report, I'm going to tack on, I did, on Sunday, I talked to my school about the astrology of 2025, and I did a 20-minute screen share of the planetary positions of the slower moving planets through the zodiac. That is kind of in preparation for this Sunday's the astrology of 2025. I don't know if you're signed up for that, but it's a 4-hour webinar where you look at the transiting planets in relationship to your own personal planets to see not only what's going on in the general world, like the Pele report, but what is going on in your destiny, in your future, in your soul. Yeah. So, wow. So I thought I would just tack that on at the end. Obviously, if you're not into astrology or whatever, maybe you're not going to listen to it, but it may look like, whoa, this is a super long Pele report. It's not all Pele report. It's also a yearly report in a way. Yeah, this is kind of a special Pele report. Oh my God, something special. Anyway, yeah, so that moon hits Pluto right now in Aquarius, going deep, and you may be feeling, this rebel revolutionary, like let's step into the future and get things going, even though Mars is going retrograde. It's like, by Friday, she moves into Pisces, and she will be conjuncting Venus, okay, on Friday, and move on through Saturday. She will conjunct with Saturn, and then Sunday hit Neptune. Neptune is in the very last degrees of Pisces, and then a transiting moon is going to pass over Neptune and go into Aries, right? And that's happening on Sunday. Moves through Aries, conjoins with Chiron, does her whole energy, and squares the sun. So we have the first quarter square on Monday. That's happening at 16 degrees, 55 minutes of Aries. I will share the Sabian symbol for the first quarter square moon. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll at least share the symbol for that. And then she moves on into Taurus by Tuesday. So next Pele report, I'm going to have moon in Taurus. I'm actually going to be in Peru. This is going to be my last Pele report in the United States for a long time. It's just too cold. No, just kidding. I just have the wanderlust, Anyway, so yeah. Other aspects that are happening besides Mars retrograding, okay, into Leo, and the north node of the moon retrograding into Pisces on the 12th. Venus is moving from Aquarius into Pisces tomorrow. She is at the 29th critical degree of Aquarius as I speak right now, baby. And she comes into an inconjunct with Mars on Friday. So there we're going to have, that at the very, first degree of Leo to the first degree of Pisces, an inconjunct 150-degree aspect. It's not a comfortable aspect. So it's a kind of antsy in the pantsy, having to do with relationships, having to do with what I want and what I am longing for and what actually is happening in my, in my relationships, in my finances, so there is this, it's a need to adapt, a need to make some changes. And these are not always comfortable changes. Particularly because this, it's a 210-degree aspect. It's got a Scorpio flavor to it. It involves, a connection and intimacy, and can be excitement and passion, but underneath there's this kind of, tension. It's not an easy flow. There's like something is needing to adjust. I need to adjust to a new something in myself, in my, in my pain body, in my life, in my relationship, with my finances. I need to do this adjustment, and it can have to do with a need to surrender. Venus moving into Pisces. This is a lot of what 2025 is really all about. This Venus coming into Pisces, North Node into Pisces, Saturn and Neptune already in Pisces. This is a lot of surrender, allow, accept, have compassion, forgive, understand, open the heart, get out of judgment, and kind of look at, see, witness, seek the perfection within the apparent imperfection. Kind of a theme here that we could extend out over through the year. But let me look at the rest of these aspects before I just put this thing down. We do have Mercury in conjunct Uranus, okay, from Sag to Taurus. We've got, a couple, these inconjuncts are no fun. The Sun is in conjunct Jupiter right now. Tomorrow it's exact, okay? That's Capricorn over down there to Gemini. Again, so these are uncomfortable, adjusting, sometimes like things coming to an end, projects coming to an end. For me, I'm packing my suitcase. My time here is at an end. The holidays are over. So it's like, okay, kind of back to work. The end of, taking some time off or being with family or whatever. So, it's this transition from 24 to 25. From and astrologically, it's just like this whole thing. And I'm gonna put this down in a second and then talk to you. Mercury is in conjunct Mars next Tuesday. I mean, that's 4 or 5 inconjuncts happening at the same time. And last but not least, hallelujah, Saturday, the Sun sextiles Saturn, Capricorn over to Pisces. So, all that astrobabble, what does it mean, Kaypacha? Yes, well, it means a lot. It means a lot more than I can express to you in this short little Pele report in a half hour or so. So I'm just going to try to do my best, trying to give like a year report and a weekly report and a daily report. Oh, man. Not only a yearly report. These moon's nodes are closing an 18-and-a-half-year cycle. What were you doing? 19 years ago, say 2006? Right? 6, 16, 24. 2005, 2006 was the last time these moon's nodes made this transition. And what is this transition? Yeah, it's, these last couple of years now, the moon's nodes have been in these very personal, instinctive, automatic, survival, I, me, my, get my way, do my thing, Taurus and Aries for the last couple of years. And this shift is into selfless, egoless, innocent, naive, open, pure and sweet, angelic Pisces for the next year and a half, and then into Aquarius for another year and a half. So we're going from like, let's, I want to get my stuff together, right? South Node's been in Libra, end of codependency and all that kind of thing. Well, no sooner do you, okay, I feel like, okay, I got myself together. It's time to give myself to the world and open my heart in a compassionate sense. And this just kind of gets me to this new earth and this whole seed energy that I'm going to read about in the Sabian symbol. And the mantra for this week, this new earth, what I feel like 2025 and even into 2026, Saturn is conjunct Neptune all through 2025 into February of 2026 and even beyond that, if you give it a good orb. And, this is like the Christ cycle. It's a 33-year cycle, but it hasn't happened at 0 degrees of Aries. So it's not only is the moon's nodes now at 0 degrees Aries, but Neptune is coming to 0 degrees Aries. Saturn is coming to 0 degrees Aries, and they are going to conjunct each other at 0 degrees of Aries, this very first degree of Aries. So this is the beginning. They have not come together in a conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries in thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I have gone back a few thousand years, and it's just like, no, the chances of Saturn conjuncting Neptune exactly at the first degree of the zodiac, I mean, wow. So this is big. Okay, yes, it's one thing, Pluto moving into Aquarius, okay, some of these other aspects that have been happening, but for this to be happening right at the equinox point is super powerful, and to me, it heralds a new earth. Only here is the great mystery involved with this. And that is that not everyone is going to see it, experience it, even know it is happening. It is like a seed beneath the surface of the soil, breaking open. Just get that image of a seed. You think of an end of Pisces. This is in the northern hemisphere, it is the springtime, where the seed has lain dormant, okay, and, not dormant anymore, but then, comes this 0 degrees of Aries and it breaks open. And this is what is going on in 2025, from my perception, is that there is a underground opening, an internal within the heart, within our, solar plexus, within our bellies, within our root chakra, there is this opening. And what is it? First of all, it's a crack. The seed cracks open. And it loses its identity as a seed. It's no longer a seed. And this can be like our ego, right? Our ego gets cracked open. And we lose our identity. So this can be a very big time of confusion, of who am I, where am I going? I thought I was a seed and now I'm a root. Yeah, and I thought that the world was all, I had it all together, and now I'm surrounded with dirt, soil, I should say. Don't say dirt. It's soil. Anyway, with some good compost in there. But the idea, okay, is that, yes, we are giving birth to something new that we're not even aware of what it is. It's a new earth. It's like a new plant. It doesn't even know. It hasn't enough form, structure, or intelligence, or memory, we're at this very beginning stage of a new thousands and thousands of year cycle. You get, this is like really big, and it can be very scary. It can bring up all of our insecurities, that we don't know what lies ahead. We don't know where technology is going. We don't know where politics are going. We don't know where transgenderism is going, or, the human two, is going with the cyborg of, mixing us with, artificial intelligence. There's so many unknowns at this point that we can really become unsettled, and we can go down the rabbit hole. We can go into, and Saturn, Neptune in the traditional astrology is depression. Okay, it is despair. Even has to do with suicide. It has to do with grief. It has to do with things falling apart. But that is, if we continue to identify with our old egoic seed self, instead of letting that seed open and letting it go, and identify ourselves with the emerging new sapling, or the emerging new root, right? Then we get a different feeling. So, so the other aspect of this is not only are we letting go of an old shell, okay, like a hermit crab, setting aside its old shell. It's kind of vulnerable. It's naked. It crawls across the ocean floor looking for a new, bigger shell to quick get in that sucker before you get eaten. So, yeah, there is this, but so there is that vulnerability, that sensitivity. And the other aspect that I want to bring forward is that this is also moving into, and this is also like Mars moving into Cancer. Again, the crab has that hard shell, fear of vulnerability, and yet desire for emotional connection. And Pisces is desire for spiritual union. The law of one, that we are all one with no boundaries, and we just, are psychically, and spiritually connected with all that is, not just brothers and sisters and, humanity, but one with all that is being one with the stones and the rocks and the animals and the trees and the stars and the galaxy and this is like beyond left brain linear egoic comprehension. And so it requires opening ourselves to the sixth sense. It requires not only just this third eye, okay, because even the third eye has got more of a Uranian laser beam, conscious, super consciousness. But we're talking about crown chakra. We're talking about Neptune in Pisces rules the crown and the feet. It has to do with humility. It has to do with coming out of the genius and coming out of the head and coming out of all the things that I know or see or can explain, and all this knowledge and truth and understanding that I have, sinking it, okay, and letting go of that individuality into sympathy. into empathy, into compassion, into walking in other people's shoes, and to just be there. And like I say in the mantra, hold space. Holding space, we stand in our truth and we hold space for those who maybe have a different truth, who don't see the truth, who aren't aware of the truth, are burdened by the truth, are shocked, appalled, or disillusioned, and depressed or sick or, unhealthy. There is this standing in the truth, which the truth is also faith, hope, love, seeing the bigger, higher, wider, broader intentions of a greater intelligence than our ego consciousness is able to perceive. This is faith. And having that faith, having that trust in life, in the field, that there is intelligence outside of my brain and outside of humanity and above and beyond, there is a divine intelligence. This is what Pisces is about. So, and that's the other side that I was talking about, briefly, is that this is a seed that is underground. Not everybody is going to see it. Not everyone is going to be open. Not everyone is in an evolutionary stage or capable, of feeling and sensing and letting go of ego and separation and Saturnian time, space, third dimensional reality with, finances and needs and, home and sex and family and jobs and blah, 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 and screens and distractions in order to sit in the void, in the stillness, in the emptiness, in the silence, where this seed is cracking and a new future is emerging. It's so subtle. It's so invisible. It's so intangible. It's so unexplainable. It's still in this impulse state, nascent. So, yeah, you have to really be sensitive to the invisible workings of spirit at this time. Let me read to you the Sabian symbol where the moon's node is now for 12 days, and Neptune is going to stay there for a long time. Saturn is going to come and station at 0 degrees before going back into Pisces. There's a whole lot going on here through 2025. So this Sabian symbol is not just for this week, but really kind of for the year. The first degree of Aries. A woman just risen from the sea. A seal is embracing her. This is the image that Elsie Wheeler, the psychic, felt when she held a blank card to her forehead that just said the first degree of Aries. She sees this image and relates this image. Mark Edmund Jones was there and he recorded it and he interpreted it. And then Dane Rudhyar also came with his interpretation. And I am reading Dane Rudhyar's interpretation. And he says the keynote is emergence of new forms and of the potentiality of consciousness. This is the first of the 360 phases of a universal and multi-level cyclic process which aims at the actualization of a particular set of potentialities. You might have to rewind and listen to this one a couple of times. Dane is like lofty, man. These potentialities in the Sabian symbols refer to the development of our individualized consciousness. The consciousness of being an individual person with a place and function, in parentheses, a destiny, in the planetary organism of the earth. The process of individualization, get that? And in a particular type of human society and culture. To be individually conscious means to emerge out of the sea of generic and collective consciousness, which to the emerged mind appears to be unconsciousness. Such an emergence is the primary event. It is the result of some basic action, a leaving behind, an emerging from a womb or matrix, here symbolized by the sea. We're not only letting go of 2024, we're letting go of this 18-and-a-half-year cycle of the moon's nodes. We're letting go of thousands of years of patriarchal, cultural, socio-religious conditioning. We're letting, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So this is like in order for the seed, right? What the seed must die that it is born again as a plant. The seed's letting go of being a seed in order to become a plant, right? Woo. Such an action is not to be considered a powerful, positive statement of individual being. In the beginning is the act, but it is often an imperceptible, insecure act. The small, tender germ out of the seed does not loudly proclaim its existence. It has to pierce through the crust of the soil, still covered with the remains of the past. It is all potentiality and a minimum of actual presence. You know what he's talking about? It's subtle, 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 almost imperceptible. Yay. In the symbol, therefore, the emergent entity is a woman. Symbolically speaking, a form of existence still close to the unconscious depths of generic biological nature, filled with the desire to be rather than self-assertion. The woman is seen, embraced by a seal, because the seal is a mammal which once had experienced a biological, evolutionary, but relatively unconscious emergence, yet which retraced its steps and returned to the womb of the sea. The seal, therefore, represents a regressive step. It embraces the woman who has emerged, because every emergent process at first is susceptible to failure. These failures during this process is indeed surrounded by the memory, the ghosts of past failures during previous cycles. The impulse upward is held back by regressive fear or insecurity. The issue of the conflict depends on the relative strength of the future word and the past word forces. The possibility of success and that of failure is implied throughout the entire process of actualization. Every release of potentiality contains this twofold possibility. It inevitably opens up two paths. One leads to perfection, that's in quotes, in consciousness. The other to, in quotes, disintegration, the return to the undifferentiated state, the state of humus, manure, cosmic dust, to the symbolic great waters of space, to chaos. So at this new year, and at this year, which is a turning point, in a bigger cycle and then an even bigger cycle, there is always, and even in this life, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, right? There still is this, astrology is based on a soul that incarnates from life to life, from body to body, and is outside time, beyond time and space, and has a soul memory of past lives. And we have both individuated and differentiated and succeeded in this forward process of individualization. And we have collapsed, and we have failed, and we have disintegrated, and we have fallen back, into our fears. If we look at love and fear as being opposites, yes, the love can pull us forward, but the fear pulls us backward. And so, there is this, let's say that maybe 2024, there was a failure. And it was not a year of 100% success. And we can really fall back into and regress in our regret or despair or depression, and go down with the ship or go down with the past, or, so there is this need to come out of the sea, to come out of the seed, to come out of the past and to actualize again. And this is very challenging now, like I said, with Mars retrograde. So this is a slow, deep process that we want to have patience and sensitivity, first with ourselves and then with all others. Let me read to you the symbol, the mantra for this week. I am a keeper of the new earth flame, standing in truth and holding space in a world being swept with change. Truth is beyond our understanding, beyond our explanation, beyond our personal subjective reality. There are cosmic, universal, spiritual truths. And as we align our personal truth with these greater truths that govern all evolution and growth, we then become able to hold space for all the different views, for all the different personal realities, for all the suffering, for all the, everything that is, all the changes, political, economic, family, gender, whatever. There are so many changes going on. We don't want to get swept into those changes, but hold to the truth. And then we are able to hold space in a sympathetic, empathic way, without codependence, without savior, without rescuer, but standing in that truth that, yes, okay, there are consequences, there are laws of karma. This is part of, a perfect imperfection felt as suffering, pain, or sorrow, or grief. And yet there is some gem, some jewel, some learning, some growth that comes through that apparent chaos or disaster or trauma. Yeah. I mean, the truth is bigger than us all, baby. Yeah. So you try to stand in it, but, good luck. I am a keeper of the new earth flame, standing in truth and holding space in a world being swept with change. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.